You must not bath this child for 15 years. If you do, something terrible will happen, but if you don't, the child will become yours forever.
I will never bathe her. I promise. Thank you. Thank you.
This was what she promised. But as the child grew, problem grew with her. Children of her age began to run away from her. Villagers covered their noses whenever she passed. They mocked her because she had not bathed for years and smelled very bad. Each time she came home crying, begging her mother, Aduk, to bath her, Aduk would hold her tightly and lie to her. She would say it is not normal for a human to bath. She would tell her that people she sees bathing will die quickly, but if she does not bath, she will live long. Aduk will also lie and tell her that she herself had never bathed since she was born. But the truth was different. Whenever Aduk wanted to bath, she would hide where her child could not see her. She would quickly pour water on her body in secret. Everything continued like this, until the day everything changed. One night, the child saw her mother bathing secretly. Her heart broke. The lies, the shame, pain. So the following day, without telling anyone, the child carried soap and sponge. She went deep into the forest, and what happened next was very, very shocking. Aduk sat alone in the forest, crying. Why? She had married 5 husbands. Each time no child came. And this always make her husband sent her away. The villagers mocked her. They called her a witch. The shame broke her completely. With nowhere left to go, Aduk chose the forest. That day, as she gathered wood to build a small hut in the forest, she unknowingly packed a strange stick called Kuduku. This stick was a strange spirit. She packed this stick together with a stick she packed. That night, inside the small hut she built, she cried, God, even one child, just one. She didn't know something terrible was listening to her. The stick heard everything. The following morning, as Aduk woke up and stepped outside her hut, she froze. Right in front of her stood a strange tree that had not been there before. The tree looked fresh, almost alive. And on one of its branches there was something. It was a baby. A small baby, wrapped carefully with green leaves. Aduk's heart almost stopped. She slowly moved closer. The baby was alive, breathing, quiet. Suddenly, the tree began to shake violently. Before her eyes, then something unbelievable happened. An old woman came out of the tree. The old woman's body looked thin and dry, almost like wood. She looked like part of the forest itself. Aduk was shaking with fear. The old woman spoke. My name is Kuduku. I heard your cry last night, she said with a dry, deep voice. You asked God for a child. I will give you this child, the old woman continued. But on one condition. Aduk swallowed hard. You must not bathe this child for 15 years. Not even once. If you obey, and after 15 years you still do not bathe her, she will be yours forever. But if you bathe her before the 15 years is complete, a very terrible thing will happen. The forest became silent. Aduk did not even think twice. Joy filled her heart. Real joy. The kind she had never felt before. But the joy also comes with fear in her heart. I will obey, she said quickly. She rushed and carried the baby from the tree. The baby felt warm in her arms. But as she turned to ask the old woman what terrible thing would happen if she disobeyed, the old woman vanished. It was as if nothing came out of the tree. Aduk stood there shocked. But her happiness was greater than her fear. She finally had a child. Aduk returned to her village with a baby. She focused on taking care of her child. She never allowed water to touch the baby's body. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. The baby grew into a young girl. And Aduk named her Abasid. But deep in Aduk's heart, the warning of the spirit still echoed. 15 years. Not even once. Or something terrible would happen. And now because Abasid had never bathed for years, her body began to smell badly. The smell was strong. Whenever she walked into the village, people would quickly cover their noses. Some would turn their faces away. Some would whisper. Some would laugh openly. The children her age were the worst. Dirty girl, they would shout. Why don't you bathe? You smell like a dead animal. They would run away from her, holding their noses and laughing. Abasid would pretend to be strong. But when she got home, she would break down in tears. She would cry to Aduk. Mama, why can't I bathe like other children? She would ask. Why am I different? Aduk's heart would shake, but she would hide her fear. You must not mind them, Aduk would lie and say firmly. It is a taboo for humans to bath. If you bathe, You will die very soon, but if you don't, you will live long. Those words planted fear inside Abbasid's heart. Then Aduk would add, have you ever seen me bathe before? Since I was born, I have never bathed. Meanwhile, Aduk bathed secretly, but she don't let her child to know. Every day the shame grew heavier. As the villagers mock her more, Abbasid tried to endure it, and slowly, a dangerous curiosity began to grow inside her heart. What would really happen if I bathed? As Abode turned 14 years old, a very powerful and mysterious power entered into her body. It was not ordinary, and from that day, Abbasid could do what no other in the village could do. One day, a man in the village became very sick. His body was weak. His family had taken him to different herbalists. They tried many roots and many mixtures, but nothing worked. He was almost dying. Then the spirit in Abbasid tell her to visit the man's hut. Some people laughed. The smelly girl. They all covered their nose. Abbasid simply walked to a small bush around the man's house and plucked a common leaf. The same leaf the man's wife used every day to cook soup. A leaf nobody respected. She squeezed the leaf carefully and pressed the juice into a small rubber container. Then she gave the liquid to the sick man. Within moments, the man sat up. His strength returned. His breathing became normal. He was healed instantly. The villagers were shocked. How could an ordinary cooking leaf heal a dying man? From that day, fear and respect began to grow for Abbasid. Another day, a farmer was confused. He stood on his farmland talking to himself. Should I plant yam or maize? He wondered. He did not know which crop would succeed or fail. Abbasid walked past him and heard him speaking. She picked a leaf. She gently rubbed the leaf across her face. Immediately, her eyes changed. It was as if she could see the future. She looked at the soil and said calmly, "Plant cassava," Abbasid said. The man obeyed. Months passed. After a year, the man became very rich. The cassava business was booming in the market. People began to talk. Abbasid was not ordinary. She had power. Now some of the villagers respected her, but some still mocked her. When she walked past, they still covered their noses. They still whispered. They still laughed. They could not sit close to her because of the smell. Yet whenever they had problems, whenever they were confused, they ran to her. The same people who mocked her. The same people who laughed at her. They needed her power. And Abbasid would sit quietly, listening to them. But among all the villagers who mocked Abbasid, one girl was different. Her name was Lolad. She was a little bit older than Abbasid. When Lolad friends mock Abbasid, Lolad did not mock her. Lolad watched her. She admired her power. She wanted to be like Abbasid. She wanted people to talk about her name in the village. She wanted people to respect her. But she did not want the dirty part. She did not want the smell. So one day, Lolad went to meet her mother. Because her mother was a witch. She knew many secrets. "Mama," Lolad said, "I want to be like Abbasid. I want to do magic. I want people to talk about my power." Her mother looked at her seriously. "That is not possible," she said. "Why?" Lolad asked. "Because Abbasid is not ordinary. The reason she can do those things is because she has never bathed. The day she bathes, her power will be destroyed." Lolad's eyes widened. Her mother continued. "That is her secret. Because she was a witch, she knew everything." From that day, Lolad made up her mind. She started getting close to Abbasid. She became her friend. First, their friendship was smooth. It was peaceful. They laughed together. Even when the villagers still mock Abbasid, Lolad did not care. They talked together. But as Abbasid's power became greater, and people kept talking about her miracles, jealousy began to grow inside Lolad's heart. Everywhere in the village, it was Abbasid's name. Abbasid healed this. Abbasid saw the future. Abbasid saved him. The jealousy became too much. Lolad wanted to destroy her power. One day Lolad spoke carefully. "Abbasid," she said softly, "why can't you just bathe? You are smelling. You should bathe." Abbasid shook her head. "I cannot bathe. If I bathe, I will die. That is what my mother told me. Even my mother does not bathe." Lolad quickly replied. "That is a lie." Abbasid looked at her. "Your mother bathes," Lolad said. "If she does not bathe, she would be smelling like you." Abbasid felt uncomfortable. "No, that is not true," she said. But doubt had already entered her heart. For the first time, she began to question everything. After that conversation, Lolad became more serious. She needed proof, and she started secretly monitoring Aduk. Every day, Lolad would hide near Abbasid house and watch quietly. She will wait patiently. Then one night she saw something shocking. Aduk carried a bucket of water. She looked around carefully to make sure nobody was watching her. Slowly, quietly, she walked away from the house. She went deep into the bush, far from her hut. Lolad followed from a distance, hidden behind trees, silent. And there, in the middle of the bush, Aduk bathed. Lolad's eyes widened. She smiled in the darkness. Now she had proof. The next day Lolad went to Abbasid. "I saw your mother yesterday," she said boldly. "She went to bathe." Abbasid frowned. "That is a lie," she replied immediately. Lolad shook her head. "Tonight come with me. We will hide. I will show you." That night, Abbasid followed Lolad quietly. They hid near the house. They waited. After some time, Aduk carried a bucket of water again. She looked around carefully. Then she walked toward the deep bush. Abbasid followed quietly with Lolad. And there, in the darkness, she saw it with her own eyes. Her mother bathed. Abbasid felt something break inside her. Anger, pain, betrayal. She felt her mother had been punishing her for nothing. She felt her mother had allowed the villagers to mock her for no reason for years. Tears filled her eyes. All the years of shame. All these years of suffering. The following day, Abbasid made a decision. She carried a sponge, carried soap. She walked deep into the forest where nobody could see her. Her heart was beating fast. "If my mother can bathe and nothing happens," she thought, "then nothing will happen to me." She fetched water from a small stream in the forest. Her hands were shaking. Then slowly, she poured the water on her body. She began to bathe. The moment the water touched her skin, the sky changed. The wind began to blow violently. The forest became dark. A loud, strange sound echoed through the trees. And something terrible started happening. Abbasid suddenly froze. Her body became stiff. She could not move her hands. She could not move her legs. She could not run. She stood still like a statue. Suddenly a powerful air blew out of her body. It was a strong air, big and moving with force. The air moved through the forest. It blew across the trees. It left the forest and entered the village, moved straight toward Aduk. The moment the spirit air touched her body, Aduk suddenly screamed. Her legs suddenly began to move. She started running, running fast, running without control, until she reached the deep forest. The forest was calling her. When she finally reached the deep part of the forest, she saw something shocking. She saw Abbasid. But this Abbasid was stiff. She has turned to a tree. Aduk fell to the ground and started crying. Suddenly the spirit, the same Kuduku tree that gave her the baby years ago, appeared again. The old woman came out of the tree. Her face was angry. "You disobeyed me," she said loudly. "I told you this child must not bathe for 15 years. You broke the rule." The old woman pointed at Aduk and said, "Now I will turn you into a tree too, just like the child." Aduk cried, "Please, please, don't turn me into a tree. Please give me back my child." The old woman was furious because Aduk destroyed the agreement. The forest shook. The trees prepared to punish her. Then the spirit spoke again. "There is only one condition and it a punishment." Aduk looked up quickly. "If you can take care of Abbasid, who is now a tree, if you can stay in the forest and take care of her with love like your child for 6 months, then it will come back to life." Aduk did not hesitate. She agreed. "I will do it." So Aduk began taking care of the stick. Every day she cleaned it. Every day she protected it. Every day she stayed near it like it was her child. 6 months passed. She did not complain. She obeyed. She endured. After 6 long months, the tree began to shake. Light surrounded it. Suddenly, Abbasid returned to life. She stood up. She was free. Her body was clean. She could bathe now. The curse was broken. Her power was restored, stronger than before. Aduk thanked the Kuduku tree and returned with her child to the village. This time Abbasid. She bathed freely. She smelled good. And the villagers were shocked. The girl who once smelled, the girl they mocked, the girl they avoided, was now clean, powerful, and respected. People started loving her. No more mockery, no more laughter. Abbasid had survived the curse, and now she was fully powerful. When Abbasid tell her mother that it was Lolad who made her to decided to bath, Aduk warned her never to move closer to Lolad again, and Abbasid obey. Lolad felt humiliated. One day, the king of the village faced a serious problem. The king had not been able to sleep for months. Night after night, he lay on his bed with his eyes open. He was tired. He was weak. But sleep refused to come. The palace doctors tried many things. Herbalists tried different mixtures. Spiritual men prayed. But nothing worked. The king became worried. Then he said, "There is only one person who can help me now." He believed that only Abbasid could solve his problem, so he sent for her. Abbasid came to the palace calmly. She listened to the king carefully. After examining him, she walked outside and picked a special leaf. She crushed the leaf. She mixed it with clean water. Then she gave it to the king to drink. The king drank it slowly. After some minutes, his eyes became heavy. His body relaxed. And for the first time in many days, the king slept peacefully and without fear. When he woke up, he was shocked. He felt strong again. He felt refreshed. He was very happy. He called Abbasid and praised her. "You saved me," the king said. "You are powerful and wise." Because the king did not have a female daughter, he made a powerful decision. He made Abbasid a princess. He gave her royal status. He brought her into the palace with her mother. From that day, Abbasid became a princess of the village. She was no longer just the smelly girl. She was no longer the mocked girl. She was now royal. The king treated her like his own daughter. And Abbasid was very happy. Her journey of pain had turned into a journey of honor. The moral of this story is simple. Never let jealousy, pressure, or temporary shame push you to destroy your destiny. Abbasid was mocked for years, but her obedience carried her power. The moment doubt entered her heart, everything almost ended. What people laugh at today may be the same thing that makes you great tomorrow. Be patient, be wise, and never trade your future for approval.